Today, we're diving into a really big challenge for pretty much any company out there. How do you build a sustainable supply chain? It feels like this massive, tangled mess, right? Well, we're going to look at how a simple data tool can cut right through all that noise and show us exactly where we can make a difference.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Think about your supply chain, all the parts, all the shipping, everything it takes to get a product to a customer. How sustainable is it, really? If we're being honest, for most businesses, the answer is they have no idea. And that's exactly the problem we're going to tackle.
All right, first things first, let's really get our heads around the problem itself, which is just how incredibly complex the modern supply chain has become. I mean, what we're dealing with are these massive global webs. You've got suppliers over here, manufacturers over there, logistics partners all over the place. It's all connected. And when you're looking at a web that complicated, the true environmental footprint, it basically becomes invisible. So without good, clean data, any effort to be greener is really just a shot in the dark, not a real strategy. So if the problem is that we're all flying blind, then the solution has to be something that brings clarity, right? It's got to be a spotlight. That brings us to our solution, creating a dashboard for change. And here it is. It's called a Sustainable Supply Chain Analyzer. Now, the idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It takes all of that messy, scattered data from everywhere and pulls it into one single, clear picture of your environmental performance. It's all about turning that noise into insights you can actually use. So, what is this thing actually tracking? Well, the analyzer hones in on a few absolutely crucial metrics, what we call KPIs, or key performance indicators. We're talking about the big ones, your total carbon footprint, how much water you're using across the entire chain, and how you're doing on waste reduction. These are the numbers that really matter.
Okay, so a dashboard like this sounds great. It sounds powerful. But how do you actually build one? Let's walk through how it's made at a high level. And trust me, it's probably more straightforward than you think. The process can be broken down into three main phases. First up is the blueprint. This is where you figure out your goals, what do you want to measure, and then you go out and gather all the data you need. Phase two is the build. You take all that raw data and start to shape it, model it, and create the visuals that'll tell the story. And finally, you have the launch. This is where you share the dashboard with everyone who needs it and start using their feedback to make it even better. Now, this is where it gets really cool. How in the world does a tool like this take a bunch of raw numbers, like miles traveled, and turn it into something meaningful, like a carbon footprint? It's not magic, I promise. It's just some really smart logic. The secret sauce is basically just a simple set of if-then rules. This little snippet here might look technical, but all it's saying is this. If something was shipped by truck, then multiply the distance by the emission factor for a truck. But if it went by plane, use the plane's emission factor instead. See? It's just applying the right math to the right situation over and over again. And boom, here's what you get on the other side. The analyzer does thousands of those little calculations in the background and rolls it all up into one super easy to read chart. All of a sudden you can see, clear as day, that air freight is causing 65% of your carbon footprint. Now that is a powerful insight you can actually do something with. And really, this is the whole point, isn't it? It's not just about having interesting data. It's about taking that insight and turning it into a real, tangible impact on the world. The difference is just night and day when you see it like this. You go from having data scattered all over the place to having these clear, centralized insights. You stop guessing and start tracking real, honest KPIs. And maybe most importantly, you go from having almost no visibility to having the power to make real, data-driven decisions. And the best part is, it doesn't just stop with a simple dashboard. These tools can get way more sophisticated. You can get into data storytelling, where you build these compelling, interactive narratives to get everyone on board. You can use advanced analytics to predict what might happen in the future. And you can use collaboration tools to make it a living, breathing project that the whole team helps improve. So, we'll end on this thought. We just saw how data can shine a massive spotlight on the environmental impact of a supply chain. And it just makes you wonder, what other hidden problems, what other inefficiencies, or what amazing opportunities are just sitting there waiting to be found inside your data? The potential is just huge.